Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is lecture 4th of the Artificial Intelligence course. In today's lectures, we'll cover views of the artificial intelligence. As we know, artificial intelligence is a way of making a computer-controlled robot, or a software think intelligently. In the similar manner, a human thinks. This is the outline of the today's lectures, in which we'll cover views of artificial intelligence, Turing test, and some applications of the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is accomplished by studying how human brain thinks and how human learns, decide, and work while trying to solve a problem, and then using the outcomes of this study as a basis of developing intelligent software and systems. There are 4 main views of artificial intelligence in the literature, that is, thinking humanly, acting humanly, thinking rationally, and acting rationally. Acting humanly means that is, a system should act like a person. The classic example of this is the Turing test. And thinking humanly means that a system should think like a human. That is, thinking like a person. In this regard, the field of cognitive science explores this topic and trying to model how human thinks. The difference between acting humanly and thinking humanly is that the first is concerned with only the actions and the outcome or product of the human's thinking process, whereas the latter is concerned with modeling human thinking process. So acting humanly involves only the actions that are carried out to act intelligently, whereas to model how human think, or the thinking process of a human, is concerned with thinking humanly. AI means thinking rationally. That is, modeling thinking as a logical process where conclusions are drawn based on some type of symbolic logic. AI means acting rationally, that is, performing action that increase the value of the state of the agent or environment in which the agent is acting. For example, an agent that is playing a game will act rationally if it tries to win the game. So let's discuss all the 4 views in details. So, acting humanly, the systems that act like humans. According to the definition of Kurzweil, artificial intelligence is the art of creating machines that perform functions that require intelligence when performed by people. Similarly, Rich and Knight in 1991 defined artificial intelligence as the study of how to make computers do things at which at the moment people are better. The machines to act like human is a problem that has greatly troubled AI researchers for years. They ask the question, when can we count a machine as being intelligent? The most famous response is attributed to Alan Turing, a British mathematician and computing pioneer. The famous Turing test was named after him based on ideas he expressed in a paper published in 1950. So we can say that the first proposal for success in building a program that acts humanly was the Turing test. To be considered intelligent, a program must be able to act sufficiently like a human to fool an interrogator. So actually the Turing test proposed by Alan Turing was designed to provide a satisfactory operational definition of intelligence. The test he proposed is that a computer and a computer and a human should be interrogated by another human via a teletype. A teletype is a printing device that is used to send and receive messages. So now if a human interrogates via teletype for 5 minutes and after 5 minutes, this human interrogator cannot tell whether the entity he is communicated with is human or a machine, then the entity must be counted as intelligent. So this is actually the basics of the Turing test. This is an interrogator. You enter a room which has a computer terminal. You have a fixed period of time to type what you want into the terminal and studies the replies. At the other end of the line is either a human being or a computer system. So if you are the interrogator and the system answers you as intelligently as the human, and at the end of the period you cannot reliably determine whether it is a system or a human, then the system is deemed to be intelligent. In order to pass the Turing test, the computer would need to possess the following capabilities: natural language processing to enable the system to communicate successfully in English or any human language, knowledge representation to store information provided before or during the interrogation. The system must possess automated reasoning, that is, to use the stored information to answer questions and to draw some new conclusions. The system should be able to reason from the stored information. Machine learning to adapt to new circumstances and to detect and extrapolate patterns. Turing's test purposely avoided direct physical interaction between the interrogator and the computer because physical simulation of a person is unnecessary for intelligence. So now the systems that think like humans. If we are going to say that a given program thinks like a human, we must have some way of determining how humans think. This requires getting inside of the human mind to see how it works and then comparing our computer program to this. So this is what cognitive science attempts to do. There are three ways to do this. Through introspection, that is trying to gauge our own thoughts as they go by, or through psychological experiments, that is by observing a person performing an action. Once we have a sufficiently precise theory of the mind, it becomes possible to express the theory as a computer program. And the third is through brain imaging. The cognitive science is an interdisciplinary field that brings together computer models from artificial intelligence and experimental techniques from psychology to try to construct precise and testable theories of the workings of the human mind. So, difference between think humanly and act humanly in terms of artificial intelligence. Thinking humanly is related to cognitive science. It is the theory of how the brain works, how actually the human thinks. Thinking is related to the brain. So this is related to the how the brain works and how it handles the nodes and how it analyzes the data that your body generates. So far, there is no full understanding on how the brain functions. And acting humanly is how much this machine feels like a human. If I sit next to that machine, do I feel the vibes that it is a machine? Does it talk like a machine or a human being? Systems that think rationally. Thinking rationally. Trying to understand how we actually think is one route to the artificial intelligence. But another approach is to model how we should think. The thinking rationally approach to artificial intelligence uses symbolic logic to capture the laws of rational thought as symbols that can be manipulated. Reasoning involves manipulating the symbols according to well-defined rules. It's like it's a kind of algebra. The Greek philosopher Aristotle was one of the first to attempt to codify right thinking. His syllogisms, a syllogism is a method of reasoning by drawing a conclusion from two facts or premises. So his syllogisms provided patterns of argument structures that always give correct conclusions, giving correct are the are correct premises are facts. For example, Socrates is a man, all men are mortal. These are some facts, are premises, and based on these premises, we can draw a conclusion that is Socrates is mortal. So this is a sort of logic. Another example would be all computers use energy. Using energy always generates heat. This means all computers generate heat. These laws of uh, thought were supposed to govern the operations of the mind and initiated the field of logic. The formal logic was developed in the late 19th century, and this was the first step towards enabling computer program to reason logically. The so-called logist's tradition within artificial intelligence hopes to build on such programs to create intelligent systems. However, there are two main obstacles to this approach. First, it is not easy to take informal knowledge and state it in the formal terms required by logical notation, particularly when the knowledge is less than 100% certain. Second, there is a big difference between being able to solve a problem in principle and doing so in practice. Now, the last one is systems that act rationally. Acting rationally means acting so as to achieve one's goal in a best possible way. An agent is just something that perceives and acts. So rational behavior is doing the right thing. And what is right thing? The right thing that which is expected to maximize goal achievement given the available information. In the logical approach to the artificial intelligence, the emphasis is on correct inferences. This is often part of being a rational agent because one way to act rationally is to reason logically and then act on one's conclusion. If we reason logically, this means that we must have some general facts, and based on the facts, we draw conclusions. So the conclusion must be correct. So this is that we are doing some right thing. We are maximizing the goal achievement. But this is not all of rationality because agents often find themselves in situations where there is no provably correct thing to do, yet they must do something. The study of the artificial intelligence as rational agent design has two advantages. It is more general than using the logical approach because correct inference is only a useful mechanism for achieving rationality, not a necessary one. Because logic and Using the logic, using the rational agent, we need logic plus the domain knowledge to get the correct inference. And the second is it is more amenable to scientific development than approaches based on human behavior or human thought, because a standard of rationality can be defined independent of humans. So it allows extension of the approach with more scientific methodologies. This is how our day we can see being in as an artificial being in an artificial intelligence. Wake up, get dressed, eat breakfast. It all needs some power optimization. Checking email. So it includes spam filters, security agent. So these are again artificial intelligence things. Read news. We can personalize presentation, and it may be an information agent that can do that can read news for us. Drive to work. So traffic light control, collision avoidance, route planning, GPS network maintenance. So these all things can be used to drive to work. Teach and do services. So it includes search engine, work on research project. Again, it involves search engine, meet with collaborators. It is scheduling. You schedule meetings. So this is again scheduling using artificial intelligence. Go grocery and shopping. You can use the market-based analysis, fraud detection, etc. in artificial intelligence. Have dinner. Again, it involves search engine. You search good food, good restaurants, and minimum a maximize profit or something like that. Watch video. It's again collaborative filtering. So all these, if you see all the daily chores or daily routines, all these involve some sort of artificial intelligence in this. So you can, if you want to do this task or these tasks to be done using an agent, so you can use these mechanisms or the artificial intelligence algorithm in those agents. These are some goals of artificial intelligence and the applications of artificial intelligence. We can apply artificial intelligence in speech recognition, understanding natural language, image recognition. Artificial intelligence is used in self-driving cars, voice controlled assistants, automatic image caption generation, automatic machine translation. We have already discussed in our previous lecture in detail. You can also watch this video to learn some more applications of the artificial intelligence. And now this is the homework task for you people. Read the Turing test paper. I'll upload the paper on KCMS. The second is pick one problem area that you feel would justify the energy required to design an expert system solution. You need to find a problem and spell the problem out in some detail based on your own institution. Which aspects of this solution would be most difficult to automate? You just need to find a problem. The third one is list and discuss two potentially negative effects on society of the development of artificial intelligence technologies. If you have any questions, you can ask on KCMS. Thank you.